Welcome, Franklin Community High School students, staff, parents, to another edition of Schoolhouse News. I am Brian Powers, and I've conned Mr. SchoolHaus into letting me join him today. So as we get to the end of this first semester, we're just going to kind of bring you an update on the last week that we have and the start of next semester. So Mr. SchoolHaus, how are you?
Good. Good. Everything's good.
Good. How's the year been so far? So just a kind of an update on that.
It's been good. It's been, as everyone knows and felt, it's been a challenging semester, but we're not alone in that. Schools around the country are feeling the same thing. I think, I guess best said, our students have been great. The ones we've had in the building and we've seen have just taken to whatever been thrown at them. So the kids have been great. The teachers, our custodial staff, cafeteria staff, office staff, support staff, everyone's worked so hard, and so I'm sure we're looking forward to a day where things are a little more normal, but I've just been really proud of students and everyone in the building at how we've handled it so far this year.
So normally at this time, with a week left, students would be preparing for final exams, but this year obviously is a little bit different. What are they looking forward to next week? What's kind of next week, the last week, going to look like?
Well, I proposed back in October that we look at not doing final exams. We've just been so limited on our in-person instruction, and final exams in itself creates a stress, which can be good to kind of summative tests and try to pull everything back together as a part of a grade. But this year we just did not see the value in trying to put that added stress on students and have to prepare for all these tests. So they're going to finish the school year as if their curriculum was just going to continue to go. So they may have a test or a quiz or finish a project or an assignment or something. So they'll do something to wrap it up, but it should not be unless it's a college credit class, which we have very few of those classes that do require a final, which there are a few, but almost all classes do not, and they will not be requiring that. So it doesn't mean they won't have stuff to do next week to wrap things up, but we're really trying to get them to kind of focus on just finishing the semester strong with their curriculum.
So in finishing the semester strong, that includes the final grades. Is that going to be something where if they're missing some work, they're allowed to go on, or how's that going to work with the final grades?
We've been trying to share that with parents and students that they can. Now that doesn't mean that they can go back and do all their assignment, anything that they want, retake anything that they want. But we've been encouraging them to communicate with teachers, figure out what's there that they can retake. Maybe they've got some missing assignments, they can get some partial credit. So we want that communication to go on. And I know some have interpreted it as like, whoa, I can go back and do anything that I want from first semester. And that's not necessarily the message, but...
So the assignment that they missed on August 21st, they can't really redo.
Correct. But we have asked our teachers, and I feel like they've been good about understanding what pressure students have felt too, and how difficult it is from home to accomplish some things and to stay on top of stuff. So we've just really tried to push that, to reinforce that, the last few weeks, and that's what we want them to focus on this last week, is instead of focusing on some of these really big tests and having 4 or 5 or 6 of them to take, focus on what do you need to do to get caught up, to keep going, to turn things in if you're still able to retake some things if you're able to. We've been using Wednesdays for about almost a month now, where students have been coming in and retaking things, doing stuff, meeting with teachers. So just want to keep that going and really just finish the semester as best we can and not have to worry about some of that. So the grades, there will not be an exam grade in there. So if they're used to looking at Power School, what would be categorized as E1, there should not be a grade in there, with the exception of maybe a class or two here or there.
And it's also important to remember as students, because a lot of times students can use that final exam to boost up their grade a little bit, and that's not going to be there either. So it just kind of lends a bit more importance to the getting the work turned in that needs to be turned in, and making sure your grade's where it is, because you're not going to have that big boost at the end.
Yeah, and so there's twofold there. I mean, sometimes it doesn't boost their grade. So there's that part of it too.
That was kind of the problem I fell into. So I wish we would have canceled final exams a lot when I was in school.
And I would say that most of the time a final exam keeps a grade about where it was, but sometimes it brings it down a little, up a little, and that's where we felt like too, that's a less stress on a student to know, like, okay, what is this exam going to do to my grade? Like, whatever their grade is now, that's what their grade should be, if they can keep turning stuff in. So really the work that they should be doing, or they did last week, will do next week, should help raise the grade, really, in all honesty. So it should be something where the work that they're putting in, they know should raise their grade if they're doing stuff. So as opposed to maybe, am I going to take a final that could actually bring my grade down if I don't do well? So, so we're hoping to just relieve some of that pressure, do some fun things over the next week or two just in the building, try to, as we get towards the holiday break, and then look forward to what is hopefully maybe a light at the end of the tunnel second semester somewhere there. So
so then after next week we've got our 2-week break. Any suggestions for students over that time, or anything that?
Well, I would say first, if we've got any students who happen to miss this next week, because we do have students in and out of the building for different things, communicate with teachers if for some reason you were to miss a final project or a final assignment or something. Keep communicating, because we will probably have to work with some students. We'd like to get it wrapped up. I'm sure students would too on that Friday, the 18th. But if something comes up, we've got a student out of the building. We've got a lot of kids in and out of the building now. So don't forget about some of those things. Communicate with teachers and try to work things out. But beyond that, I'm hopeful that maybe people just spend 2 weeks, at home and being safe, and just getting ready for that second semester is just a time with family or friends or whoever's kind of in that bubble right now. And we get back in January and we can start looking forward instead of looking backwards.
So talking about January, when we come back, I think everyone wants to know, what's the schedule going to look like? Do you have that information? Or?
Yeah, we've been working on that for a few weeks, and of course, health conditions and whether it's local or state level always factor into, well, what are we capable of doing? So we'll have information out at the end of this week, so should be out here real soon about what we're doing at the high school level. We've really explored different options, but we're such a large building. We have to, little things like we have to run 4 lunches. Lunch is about a 2-hour process in our building, and the cleaning and everything that takes to go into that. And those are just the little things that go into, like, okay, well, we could try this schedule, but then we can't manage that in this way and different things. So right now we'll get out the January schedule, which is just our current schedule. We're bringing back Wednesdays, so we're going to use Wednesdays as in-person instruction. We will alternate that. We are actually going to flip Group 2 and Group 1 so that our Thursday, Friday group gets an opportunity to come earlier in the week. Our Monday, Tuesday group will go later in the week. But that schedule will be out. People just need to look at that calendar. Our bell schedule will be the same. We have no late arrival, so we're just starting at 7:45 every day, including Wednesdays. Wednesdays will be a 7-period day, and we'll alternate between Group 1 and Group 2 on those days. So if they see the calendar, would see what days are in person. And then, of course, our bell schedule we'll have out there as well. But right now we're just doing January because I think we're all hopeful of what, because our district has said it, we want to get students back all in person as soon as we safely can, and so that's where everybody's eyes are now, is when can we do that, and we will as soon as we can. So there's a potential our bell schedule could change if we get all the students back and we're assured that, we're in a pretty good spot and we're going to stay all in person. We may look at our bell schedule getting back to something that's a little more normal to previous years, but for now, we're just kind of laid out January and what that'll look like, and as we get into January, then we'll lay out February as we learn more, and just with the idea that we don't want to throw something out there too far in advance and tell everybody, like, here's what we're doing, because if things improve, we want to be able to adjust to that improvement and do as much as we can.
So, this has been the past 8 months, 9 months has been really. It's been tough. I don't think that's overstating it. Tough for you, tough for everyone in the building. Tough for all of our students, the community. The world really as a whole. So, in looking back though at some of the positives we've got going on, there's tons of positives going on around here. What sticks out to you right now as just some good things happening?
Really, just the way that our kids have been resilient through all of that. It dates back to March when right in the middle of performing seasons and athletic seasons and activities and spring breaks and all that stuff, like we just were thrown into this, and really since then there's just been a lot of stresses, and our kids have just been great through all that. I felt like, we did the best we could for graduation, and the activities we had around graduation for our outgoing seniors, and there were some real positives there, and a lot of unknowns over the summer. And like I said, our kids have just come back in, and they've just been really good. I think that's probably the biggest positive is, I know it's been a struggle, and we've struggled with some virtual stuff and trying to, processes. I never would have dreamed we were putting some of the processes where, how do we take attendance on students from home?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it took us a while to adjust to that, and that was a frustration for parents and students, and grades and curriculum, and are we in school or out of school? How do we create our own online system for kids being, so there were all those stressors, but the kids have just been really good through all of it.
Right.
So they kind of, as things have just been thrown at them, whether it's wearing a mask or what they are able to do, not able to do, what they can participate, what they can't, and it's just, as adults, I think we've probably struggled with it more than they have, and so that's probably just the biggest positive is just, and maybe the next one would just be what we've learned from all this. And we're going to do more of that second semester. The things that I think we have done that we've now found that like this is really good. Like this is something we probably should keep doing and maintain, whether it's safety, whether it's curriculum, whether it's technology. We've been forced into a lot of things, and we're going to be like, okay, some of these things need to stay. Like these were really good things. So I think there's positives.
Yeah, it's been fantastic to see just the students, the community, the way. Obviously, there's ups and downs, and there's things that don't rub everyone the right way, and that's the way it goes in everything. But just the way the kids have kind of have just taken control and stood up and said, yeah, this is the hand we've been dealt. It's been just phenomenal to see, and it just goes to show about the community as a whole.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we're getting out of here on a good note. We need some good news from you. Give me some good news.
I think just good news around the building. We've got a lot of kids stepping up and doing things for our community, staff doing stuff. It's just a time of giving, and we just came off of No Shave November, which we participated in. You're kind of like Half Shave November.
Yeah, I don't know how good
that
news that was, because
but we raised a lot of money.
With,
the good news is we raised a lot of money for No Shave November. I just kept it, and you just half shaved it.
Well, I had to, because my brother raised more than I did.
He did, and he raised a lot of money.
Yeah,
that was
and
excellent.
he didn't shave it. He made his sister-in-law and his niece shave it. 2-year-old niece. This is what you get when you have a 2-year-old cutting hair.
But now we've got a canned food drive. We've got
we're competing against Whiteland, correct? So
toys and books coming in. We've got a couple groups doing some things as well. Riley, the No Shave was for Riley, which is great. We're in talks about Riley Dance Marathon and what that can look like here coming up, and just seeing students just come up with ways to give back. Here they are stressed, and faculty and staff too. And I think that's kind of the good news we've got going on in the building right now. We're some fun things, some holiday things. We got a lot of people giving. I saw a lot of stuff in the office today. We're going to give back to people in need. So there's a lot of people in need, and we all need to support each other. And I think that's probably the good news of the building is just what we've got going on right now, where everybody's looking around saying, hey, there's people that need stuff, and I want to help them out. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Just remembering that, hey, we're still fortunate, and although we're, holed up, at least we've got a place to go and we can give back. And so that's a great thing. All right, well, Mr. Schoolhaus, thank you so much for joining us on your program. Thank you for letting me come on here and hijack it. But we just look forward to the rest of this semester and then next semester, and hopefully, like you said, there's the light at the end of the tunnel, and we can start becoming more back to what we saw as normal next semester.
Wishing everybody a happy holidays and a safe break, and looking forward to getting everybody back in January. And we've got a lot of things to look forward to, I think. So we're all optimistic.
Yeah. All right, so for Steve Schoolhaus, principal here at Franklin Community High School, I'm Brian Powers, and this has been Schoolhouse News.